Bali right now, but I'm honeymooning in Bali in 2 weeks, right after the wedding, so I couldn't swing that.
No, fair play. I mean, yeah, it's long travels as well, especially if you guys are traveling from the US. It's still long
Yeah.
from London, don't get me wrong, but anywhere is better than London. I'd happily jump on plane.
But
But yeah,
yeah, so
I'd
Mons,
love to know a bit more
do you
about
want
you
to
guys.
kind of run through the pitch, or kind of give these guys, a lick of what's.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Manj. Thank you again for setting up this call. This is fucking sweet. So the coin no itself is incredibly unique in the sense of like where the idea came from. So just in order for it to make sense, I just have to explain who I am because it just ties into
Sure.
the coin. So I met Smokey 12 years ago. I was running a bond desk worth like 160 million bucks right out of college. It was a lot of fun. It was like a structured product desk. We did these interesting like bonds called interest rate steepeners. We were like catching the yield curve from the 30 to the 2 times a multiple. It was all big banks, Morgan Stanley, Chase. It was just small issues, like anywhere from like 2 to 10 million. But I did that. I ran that desk for a few years. That's where I met him. He was one of my first hires as a cold caller, and I did that for a few years, and then I went on to be a dock builder in 2014. Right, so I go from that to dock building, and 6 months in, I get my first annuity statement. It's $3,000. I'm like 24. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be rich. I go into Prudential. I figure out that there's like 10 different options, and you could go high risk. So again, I just came out of Wall Street. So now this is the summer of 2014. So you're talking, we're heading into the peak market, zero interest rates, money printers on. So I start going to these guys like, yo, bros, what are you guys invested in? Like, this is crazy. I just put my whole thing in high risk. Like, what are you talking about? It's in whatever they put it in. So they were in a standard 60-40 equity bond fund their whole career. These guys never even knew you could touch it, change it. So for the next few years, every job I went to, my nickname became Wall Street because I would help these guys with their annuities. And I'd be like, I didn't really care how old they were. I was like, you need to go into high risk here. Like, we are in the bull market. So we started to we were clipping 30% in our annuities from 2015 to like 2018. So these guys that had like $500,000 annuities, they're clipping like 150K a year. So from every job, I would just go from job to job, and there would be all these guys lined up at lunch. And operators, laborers. I was a dock builder. Those are the guys that like build bridges and do all the foundation work. So I would work with iron workers, all these different guys, and I would just help them with their annuities. And I changed the trajectory of a lot of these guys' retirements, like throughout that time.
Which is pretty crazy, by the way. So fair play
Yeah,
to
so
you,
that
bro.
was thanks, man. And like, so that's like like these guys, all these guys that I bring onto this coin, they actually know me as Wall Street, which is really funny. They probably don't even know my real name. But I had no
I mean,
plans
I'd
on
love a nickname
leaving.
like Wall Street.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
called way worse than that.
That's crazy. Oh, fair.
So I had no plans on leaving dock building. I was living in Long Island City, right underneath the 59th Street Bridge. Sick fucking place. 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, big patio. And I go to pick up my son one day at daycare. This is July 2022, right? My son's about to turn 2 years old. So I go to pick him up at daycare, and I walk in there, and as we're leaving, the lady goes, hey, just so you know, next month when he turns 2, New York City law, we have to put a mask on him. And without even thinking, I was just like, you put a mask on my kid, I'll fucking kill you. She's like, you can't say that. I'm like, you're probably right. So I went back, I took him back home. I went to my wife. I was like, I think we got to get the fuck out of here. And then we did. We ended up leaving. My wife is actually from Central New York, Syracuse. So she's got a badass VP job at a huge global marketing firm. So they just let her go work full time, like remote. So we just went up to Syracuse. I left that next month. And that was the last time I talked to these guys. So fast forward to this past December, Smokey calls me. He goes, hey, dude, I need your brain to look at something. And I was like, what's up? He's like, I turned like a couple grand into 40 grand this month. And I just, this is pretty fucking crazy. Can you take a look at this? I'm like, what is it? He goes, meme coins. I go, not doing it. because I remember the meme coins of 2021. And for me, it was hard for me to understand the Ethereum meme coins just because the transaction costs, just like as a traditional finance guy, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like these are like paper rich, like who's going to pay $10,000 to do a transaction on something that's $500,000? I just didn't really understand it. And he's like, no, dude, it's on Solana. He's like, it's on Solana now. Like, you got to see it. The transaction costs are like nothing. This thing is fully liquid. So I go, hey, yeah, I'll take a look. What should I buy? I was like, I don't got a lot of money. I got like a couple grand in a wallet. He goes, you need to buy WIF. It's a trading at 15 cents at the time. I put $1,000 in WIF. He goes, you need to buy PopCat. Buy $1,000 worth of PopCat at half a cent. 2 months later, the thing's worth like 50 grand. I call him, like, dude, this is the crazy, like, what is this? And he's like, I know, this is crazy. And that's actually when he introduced me to Giga. I buy Giga. So this whole time I'm sitting here flabbergasted, trying to understand what this is. Because just from like a financial investment standpoint, I'd never really seen anything like that. And I was like, this is interesting. How long until private equity gets into this? Because when I was running that bond desk, I was on the due diligence team too. I would do all the investment banking stuff just because I went to college to be a CFA. So I was like a nerd and shit. It was just easy to put another set of eyes. But I kind of figured out how that worked. And all that stuff was so cyclical. Like those guys, those investment bankers, they would just bring a biotech deal to a rich client. The guy would give him $1 million. He would borrow the money for 0%. He would get warrants if it worked, and the IPO'd, he would liquidate the stock, and that's how he did it. But that whole business dries up when interest rates are at 5.5%. Those rich guys are far less likely to throw $1 million at something if they have to pay 5% interest on it, right? So I knew these guys were sitting on their hands. So I started calling them back in March and like explaining this. I'm like, no, you guys got to see the liquidity. Like, this is incredible. And they would fight it at first, but then by like June, I was just so correct. And the numbers were incredible. Back in June, you're getting $2 billion a day on Solana. So I was like, this is interesting. These guys are totally going to come here. Like this creates, we're just in this little pocket right now, like this pocket where the regular retail investor usually doesn't get in, right? Because the big banks and big tech usually move in lockstep.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is interesting. We're seeing this little gap right here. And I hadn't seen that since Bitcoin, right? That's the last time that happened, when the big banks were like, this is fake money, this is unregulated, they're buying kids, they're buying drugs. Fast forward to today, BlackRock and the banks own more of it than anyone. So that's kind of what got me interested. I was like, we're in this unique opportunity here. And then I just started to think about the gambling numbers. And the gambling numbers is what really led me to the idea. Like the American gambling numbers were crazy just in terms of money. Like the stats are nuts. It was like 73 million Americans placed a sports bet in 2023 from their phone. That's roughly 28% of the population, right? That amassed $79 billion in revenue for online sports gambling companies in America in 2023. So my thought was, if just 10% of those people that place sports bets on their phone buy a meme coin, 10% is 79 billion, 7.9 billion. At that time, that doubles the size of the Solana meme coin market. So that's where I kind of got the idea, like, all right, so we're in this place right now, like at the bottom, where usually just the big VCs are. And we have all these people that are gambling already, but I know they lose money when they gamble. Like, they're just doing 10-team parlays. Like, this meme coins is going to absorb so much of this gambling stuff. And then that's where NOOOO came in. So I'm sitting here, right now, I'm in June, and I've turned a couple grand into a couple hundred. Nothing like any of these guys. Like, I'm just small fry, right? But all I kept thinking was, these guys that I just worked with, if I cashed everything out now, say I keep half, I mean, this would change every guy's life that I knew. And that's where I got the idea for NOOOO. And my idea is, this Solana meme coin market is like a casino, and a lot of it's because like everyone involved is just sitting in front of the computer 18 hours a day. And my thought was, well, these working guys, they're not sitting in front of a computer all day. And when I give them a call and tell them the amount of money I just made and what I think meme coins actually are, I mean, I think they're going to listen. And that was how it started. And these guys, you got to understand, what makes NOOOO unique is the holder base. The community has a pre-existing community-driven mindset already. They're all in unions. And I think that that's important because these guys are disenfranchised, to say the least. The blue collar class, right? These are guys that what they do today, if they were doing it in the 50s and 60s, you know, like they're heroes. Their wife's not
100%.
working, they got 2 cars, you know what I'm saying? So what makes them unique is it's not that they don't have money. They have money. It's just for how hard they work, they're so beaten down over it. So when I call these guys and I go, I think I figured out a way for us to build something for ourselves outside the system. And because we're so early, all you need is a couple $100, a couple thousand if you have it. It's whatever you have. And we could actually build something for ourselves outside the suits. Because what's happening in these unions, most people don't know, is the union work is getting squeezed out. It's all becoming non-union. These guys in NOOOO, their retirement, unless their heads in the sand, they know it's fucked. There's no base to build off of it. The whole union system's broken. And that's why what NOOOO is to these people is it's an ability to build something for themselves outside the system. So that's how it started. I just started calling people. And when Wall Street calls 3 years later and he says, hey, man, I think I figured out a way to break you guys out of the fucking handcuffs, they all listen. And that's kind of what the chart is right now. But what's interesting is the organic growth has gone in ways I didn't see. So, for example, police officers. We have a cop in South Jersey that's like 20x his money, and his whole entire police station bought it because they love it. And and one thing that I do that's interesting is that we made hard hat stickers, right? So it's our logo. It says no, and there's a QR code on it, and the QR code scans to our link tree.
Yeah, I saw those. I saw those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they're
dropped them in
friggin'
here. That was
awesome,
pretty.
dude.
Yeah, they
You
are pretty
crushed that,
fire.
man.
So I
fire.
send those all over strategically amongst, and Matt could talk to this more, amongst, I mean, we have to have over 24 different local unions in the coin on all different spots throughout New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, New Jersey. I just ordered 1,000 more. I just sent out 500 on Friday, and they all go to different people. This sticker is going to be throughout the boroughs, and that's just the beginning. Like, we're only focusing there because that's where we are. But this, I'm talking to people in Missouri, in Florida, and California, different union guys. What I want to build, I mean, what we're building right now is really the first meme coin built outside of crypto Twitter. And that's what makes NOOOO unique. And that's what we're in the process of building right now.
Yeah, and you guys are cooking, and I definitely see some synergies here. Like, obviously, for example, the first thing that catches my attention. So you're distributing these stickers and stuff. Do you have like a central place where people can just get involved and buy these things? Like,
no, we absolutely need that.
so that would be the step one, no? Like, we can build you a similar kind of merch store. You can sell these stickers. You can sell all the other cool stuff. I think that would be pretty sick because you're already doing such like hard work with how you're doing it at the moment. So like, we could definitely take some stress off, and that's kind of what we do. We're here to kind of take stress off, kind of fix some pain points or areas where we can optimize. And something like this, I see you can definitely optimize. Like, you know, you're gonna have somewhere where people can pay in crypto, buy these things from you. You know, have a nice cool landing page or whatever that fits the meme, fits the narrative, and just makes it easier for you. Is kind of my first idea for sure, based on what you just said.
Yeah, love that.
Interesting.
Love that.
All right, good to know. Noted.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys, other than that, if you had any other kind of things that you think would be super cool. I mean, I think Eddie's with us now, and he's the absolute king at knowing what is best for like a meme coin project based on, you know, the vibe and stuff. He's got probably the most experience that I know in the space on that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's little things we can do. There's like meme generators, clicky games and stuff, and then we can do the more serious stuff as well. Like, you know, something like this that's going to generate you revenue would be amazing. Like somewhere where people can just buy these things, jump in. But yeah, I'll if Eddie is here, you here, Eddie? Are you with us? You might be.
Eddie.
Yeah, why are you talking to me like I'm a fucking preschooler? Yeah, what's up?
What up, Eddie? How you doing?
How's it going, guys?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm in Singapore, ready to ready to get out of here in the next couple hours. It's about to be midnight here. I've been here for like 10 days, and I just cannot wait to go home. So yeah, definitely was awesome to be out here and see everybody from Twitter and everybody from Solana and all of our clients and stuff. But I am ready to get on my 30-hour, 20-hour, whatever the hell it is, flight home. How you guys
I
doing?
feel like it seems like those events just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of awesome. Like, cause I watched them start from